Welcome to Ground Up Growth. I'm Hannah Pittman, founder of Pittman Marketing, alongside my co-host Paul Hopper, principal broker of Hopper Real Estate Leaders. Together, we sit down with entrepreneurs and business leaders to share insights, strategies, and lessons to help you build success from the ground up.
Welcome back to Ground Up Growth. Today we are continuing our conversation with Jeff and Shelby Taylor with Two Men and a Truck. I'm your host, Paul Hopper. We got co-host Hannah Pittman, and today's episode is sponsored by Homewell Care Services. Jeff and Shelby, thank y'all again. This has been, we had a really good conversation on the first episode, and we want to dive into a little bit more specific stuff on the second episode. Where you want to go first, Hannah? You want to
tell us a little bit about your business mix, because it's like you have residential, and through that you have interstate and intrastate, commercial too.
Yep.
Then you have this junk truck.
Yep.
So tell us just a little bit about all that you offer
it's
and the
all
kind of different
One-stop
mix.
shop.
It's all intermingled, but it's all separate,
Yeah.
too. So, when we started out, and without to get too long into that, we had to get certain authorities, in order for us to do this type of work. But we got really most of those authorities early on, so we were able to do really any type of move, whether it's local or within the state or outside of the state. And then there's a lot of ancillary type of things, packing and all that. And we would go, and as part of when somebody's moving, they're trying to disposition and figure out, okay, what am I going to take from point A to point B, and what are the things that I don't want to take? Is I don't want to pay money to move things that I don't need. So we've been doing what's called haul away ever since we started. Somebody's got an extra couch or whatever. And so through that, we started establishing relationships with different organizations, 501c3s, charitable outfits, started to see what their needs were. And so earlier this year, at the first of the year, we added a brand called Two Men and a Junk Truck. It is from the same franchisor, but it's a whole separate entity as far as LLC. And the reason for that is, you've got to wake up every day and be intentional about what you're doing. And so in order to maximize the brand, it couldn't be an ancillary service any longer, where, okay, if we're not full on the moving side, well, then we can have time to do this. So we've got dedicated people assigned to Two Men and a Junk Truck. Now, we do have shared resources. So it's the same support staff, it's the same direct labor that's able to do both. They go through different onboarding, different training, and it's doing the same service, but it's just taking it to another level. And so, a lot of times, things that we discard has still got a good life to them. And so we try to find a good second home for as many things as possible. Mm-hmm. Certainly, there's certain things that just have to go to landfill, but there's so many things. I mean, I would say 80% plus, we are finding a good second home for things. And I'll give you an example. It's okay. We partner with a company called Canopy Children's Solutions. They're all over the state. They provide services for at-risk kids, and so when Child Protective Services is about to place a child back in a home, there's a long list of things that have to happen for that child to be able to be placed back in that home. And one of them is just having the basic tangible things that they need. And a lot of times they don't have those. And so we work with Canopy. In fact, we've got something going on today that we'll deliver all over the state. And there's we do that totally because that's just we believe in being a good community partner and what they do. And so we're able to go and play a small part in providing the basic things that come from people that are, I don't need this anymore. Their useful life for them it's, but they don't realize sometimes just how much that is being a springboard for somebody else. And so
It's a partnership. So Canopy knows through our services, they're able to fulfill the furniture for that family. And I like that our guys see that too. They know,
Back to the
okay, there's
why.
no cost to
Yeah.
this move. We're doing this, out of the kindness of, we have the trucks and the manpower to do it. So it's an easy way to give back.
I think
the
that's
community.
great.
It is.
And I need to look with them because where my mind started going, thinking about like junk removal and things, is like how much money you can make on Facebook Marketplace selling this stuff. But it's like that doesn't contribute to the purpose and the why and the mission behind your company.
Right.
But this partnership with Canopy does, and it gets your team more bought in, and it's changing lives, and that's incredible.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Special.
that's really good.
And it is, just as far as it's a lighter type service. When I say that, we've talked about the moving piece can be kind of heavy. That's
Yeah.
it's a big marker moment, for when somebody's moving, regardless of their circumstances.
That's true.
When
I
you're
didn't think-
liberating yourself.
Yeah, they're
of
more
things.
optimistic. They're like, "Man, get
and
this
so they're
junk outta
like,
here."
man, I've been waiting to see you guys, And
Yeah.
so our average junk removal job is 45 minutes. And so we may have a half a dozen, a day that we're doing. And it's a change of pace. But mainly you can just see the mood on customers. It's just
Relief
a
valve.
lot lighter,
Yeah.
They're like
That makes so
adding
much
stuff
sense.
on
Yeah.
to haul away.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is one of the best, people will say, like moving, like we talked about, stressful. One of the best parts, though, is that how much stuff you get rid of. Like you declutter your
yeah.
home. It's one of the best things about
Yeah,
moving because you
absolutely.
go to the next
Realize you
house
don't need
with
it.
less
Yeah.
stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned in the first episode about the corporate. You started the business because you liked the security of like the support, the systems and processes in place. You made a comment that once you pay the royalties, like you still are making at or more money than working with a franchise. So I'm curious, do you get business from the top down? Like, are there relationships with companies or vendors that are nationwide? It's like, we're not using anybody but 2 men in a truck, because I've got a really good friend of mine that's works for a franchise commercial brokerage. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, dude, start your own thing. Like, go independent. Like, go, get the full dollar out of the dollar you make. And his rebuttal to that is like, I get so much business from corporate because of relationships with, tenants and different things, like whatever, just Dollar General. Like if he's representing Dollar General on a building or a site or whatever, they're tied to his company. So I'm curious, what are the benefits for somebody that maybe, a listener that may be thinking of, maybe looking at a franchise, the benefit of it versus independent?
Yeah, and certainly, as the system has evolved, it's about 40 years old now, and so it certainly has evolved in the value that you're able to obtain from the franchisor down. Used to it, or back even when we started, you could quantify it as primarily being the cost of the royalty, but as the system has grown and the credibility along with it, that in itself lends itself to being able to gain market share just from a name recognition. But there's so many initiatives that are driven from the franchisor down to the franchise level that provide you with processes and ways of doing business that you may or may not be able to do that on your own. Whether it is the technology that's involved, or just the know-how, having the expertise, because being part of a franchise, you are tapping into people that are they specialize in this specific thing, whether it's this specific thing inside of IT or this specific thing inside of marketing. And so, yeah, the cost of doing business certainly has increased, but we do still feel that the value that we're getting, not just in the ways that are easy to calculate. Easy way to calculate is something like national accounts.
Yeah.
Where they've got national accounts set up across the country, and they basically just reach out and they say, hey,
Yeah.
this needs to happen at this time. That's evolving, but that's just one more tangible. It's more the other things that you can see as you are tracking some of the organic type things.
Yeah, that makes
the
good
leads.
sense. I didn't even really think about that a whole lot, but it's almost like you got a team of all these other franchisees, and it's like pulled together state of the art things that like you're coming out. Whereas if you're just an independent guy on an island by yourself, you may never even think of that. And you may be missing avenues of business based on it's almost like the cost of hiring an employee to strictly keep you up to speed is offset by just being a royalty.
That's right. Well,
Like
and
benefits with marketing, like Maximize. Every year it's called Maximize Your Marketing, where all the marketers go up to Michigan for 3 days. And we just bounce ideas off each other. And I'm like, I love it. I love
That
it.
collaboration. I mean, that's-
What's working
in
in
your
your
market?
market, what's not working. I tried this, and we donated boxes to be trash cans at outside events, and another marketers, I've never even heard of that. I'm like, yes, it's logo box. That's marketing. And so our boxes will donate to, different outside events all the time.
yeah,
So-
she'll do a Zoom call with some other marketers, and I do a monthly Zoom call with several other franchisees, and so you've got your franchisor that's pushing initiatives down, but a lot of the real good stuff is comparing notes
round
with other
table with-
franchisees
that's right.
and best practices and things like that.
That's huge.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it's like if you didn't have that network and an independent mover wanted to like replicate that and have that level of support, then they're trying to get it all together. And then they're getting people who are probably really their competitors versus you guys, which y'all probably are competitors in a sense, maybe not if you're so far away, and really you just benefit from the relationships or
Yeah, you talking about other franchise locations?
yeah.
Yeah, we have a designated marketing territory,
Okay.
which is in essence Metro Jackson. But we have the ability to go anywhere. We just can't actively market in another 2 Men in a Truck territory.
Right. Yeah.
So-
We
Well,
could
there would
go
be
there.
just be nothing but benefits if they were talking to somebody in South Dakota.
Right.
It would be like you're not crossing over on anybody's sandbox. I would think you could just be an open book with that other franchisee and just be like, hey, because anything that y'all learn that would help, it would help both of y'all and increase revenue and think outside the box. That collaboration stuff is that's
Well,
a breeding ground for success.
Yeah.
And Paul, it's when you're collaborating, you're talking if Shelby's talking with other marketers or I'm talking with other franchisees, you're talking about best practices or topics, but you're also, I know how this franchisee is wired, how he looks at things, what's his DNA, and that helps me benefit off of how he's coming to make decisions based on how he's wired. And so I know what his culture is based on how he is, because you want it to be just an extension, of who you are. And so that piece of it really, really helps too.
Yeah. And being outside of Mississippi, Mississippi's not the first to do everything. So talking to franchisees in bigger markets that are exposed, the Shelby of Austin, Texas is going to a mastermind marketing thing outside of Two Men in a Truck in Austin or wherever, and like getting all kind of nuggets that they could. I think that's huge. That's really good.
Let's take a second to talk about today's sponsor, Homewell Care Services. As entrepreneurs and business leaders, we spend so much energy building something that matters, but life doesn't pause for the business. And for a lot of us, that means there's a season where someone we love needs more care than we can give them on our own. Homewell brings trusted, compassionate caregivers right into our home, companion care, personal care, even specialty care for things like dementia or chronic conditions. What makes them different is that every single client gets a dedicated care manager at no extra cost. Someone who knows your family, tailors the plan, and adjusts as needs change. It's not a one-size-fits-all service. It's care that actually fits your life. If you or someone you love is in that season, I'd encourage you to reach out. Visit homewellcares.com to find care in your area. That's homewellcares.com.
They love when the Southern girl goes to Michigan. Like, can you say y'all? Can you say y'all one more time? So, yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's funny meeting the Northerners and just comparing notes. But we all do things the same, like they're hustling and trying to reach out to real estate agents and storage units and apartments just in up north.
Yeah.
What's the craziest move y'all done for somebody, like distance wise or just something? You got any kind of unique moving story or something crazy that happened?
You have to in 30 years.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Probably something you can't say.
there's many. We moved. It was a big move out to Dallas, and where we moved him to was a castle, literally with a moat around it, with a
Really?
drawbridge. I'm like, what's that drawbridge rated for,
Right.
weight wise?
Yeah.
I don't want to
That's
have a truck,
crazy.
in the.
And then you get over there and it goes up and it won't come back down.
Yeah. They're like, are we ever getting out of this castle?
Goodness.
But
crazy.
we've been in long enough now that have moved. We're moving kids of
Previous ones.
right. I mean, there's some that
That'd be a great marketing video.
I remember when you were this
The
tall.
grandparents
Now
and then their
I'm talking
kids
with
and
you
their
about
kids.
Right.
about your own
You have my
move.
mind racing.
So that's cool.
That
So
is
just
pretty
the relational piece of it.
Have you ever
And
shown up to move somebody and they're already moved out?
we have. It's very frustrating. We try to have processes in place that catch most of that, but people are people, and people are going to be dishonest at
They're
times.
going to let you down.
Throw
And so,
curveballs.
we have, we have done that, and that's doesn't happen too often, thank
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah. Or you've, some folks, for some reason, we try to gather as much information as possible. We try to make sure that we're saying, look, let's get on the same page. We try to look at as many jobs as we can, but we can't physically go look at every single job. So we do a lot of quotes over the phone. And some people think that the less information they give you, the better off their situation is.
Like, they won't see these three
And so they're
bedrooms
just
when
not
they get
giving you
here.
a true picture, about what it is. And so, I've got this little. I'm a minimizer, a minimalist. I guess that's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get there, and they're a borderline hoarder.
Right.
That kind of thing.
It's only a 10 by 10 bedroom, but
Yeah.
you can't even see the
Right.
air vent in the
Yeah.
ceiling.
So that's where we just try to kind of roll with it as best we can.
Yeah, that's
I know that-
no job is the same in that industry, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And that is kind of what's neat. It's not, you're not looking at the same four walls every day. You're not dealing with the same people every day. And
What about
get
like
to meet
really
all of them.
high end stuff? Is there anything that y'all don't do? Like if it's like, hey, that's too valuable, I'm not.
No, I mean, we do a lot of antiques. We do a lot of gold leaf artwork. Certainly, and I would never I would never insult a customer by saying, look, all of our guys are great, and we think, and they are, we feel like from a person, a character, all that. But we've got some some guys that have been there for 20 plus years. We got some guys that have been there for 6 months. So there's a certain amount of discernment that you have when you go in and you see, okay, that painting may cost as much as our truck.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put a 6-month guy, out there.
Right.
And so we try to know skill sets, and even inside of that, you try to get to know your customer enough to see kind of how they're wired
Yeah.
and match some of the strengths and attributes of your guys with the customer. So in other words,
That's an interesting
I've got
approach.
certain guys that are just more patient than others,
Yeah.
and so you try to pull those strengths to match as much as possible.
Back to the psychology.
Back to the psychology.
Yeah.
You probably
so
got some
interesting.
that you don't have to answer this, but I'll answer it for you. But you've got some, because I do this in real estate, you go on the on-site inspection or consultation or whatever, and I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
it ain't happening.
Yeah,
I mean, just because it's like, all right, this,
Just not a good
we
fit.
certainly have have
I'd be
that.
rolling the dice to make money here.
Yeah, yeah, and I think anybody in any industry, there's certain things that there at times, and you hope that it's not many times, but you see for whatever reason, this is just not going to be a good fit, and so we try to just be truthful, cordial, as accommodating in those situations as we can.
You call a competitor and refer it.
Yeah,
You should call this person.
or we're just
too busy.
I'm just sorry we booked up. Yeah.
But like talking about valuable things, Paul, you're a hunter, so all your taxidermy and stuff
you
like
start
that.
hauling them ducks. and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Fish
mean,
and
Yeah.
some of
And
these
we've
animals
done-
can come from a different country. That these guys have to
Yeah,
pack
and-
up. We think about that.
so
too.
like
Yeah.
that elk on the wall, like I put it up and I remember how hard that was. So do y'all go take the stuff off the wall, or is it like, hey, look, I want all your contents on the ground?
Yeah, it's
Do y'all have any?
we try to we yes. The quick answer is we do take things off the wall. We try to get, if we see that there is it's attached in a way that maybe it's not.
There's a
Not
chance
you-
that it could.
yeah.
It can come off.
Then we may try to see if the customer can go ahead and have that down. But we certainly will take things off. A lot of thickness on things like that. We won't attach anything back to
Right.
real
Yeah,
property.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
let you hang the elk back up.
Yeah.
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 We'll
That's
transport
a smart move, for sure. This has been very interesting.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about this podcast is, other than just talking about the business side of things and getting to understand more, like what you don't see behind the scenes, is that your personal life doesn't stop like with the business. It keeps going at the same
Yeah.
time. And you shared that in the last episode with Becky, your first wife, and that sudden diagnosis, fighting for 5 years. You thought the business might collapse, but it kept going somehow. But there's more to the story, and I want to hear the rest of the story there.
I would love to tell you the rest of the story.
The rest of the story.
So I'm very cognizant of how rare one good marriage is in a lifetime. God has granted me with 2 good marriages. So I know I'm inside of the single digits of somebody that's able to say that. And so,
Yeah.
when something like that happens, and, most folks have experienced loss of some kind, but when you lose a spouse, you don't really know what's in store for you, particularly, if you're in the life stage that I'm at, and right now, Paul, if I were to, my gate code would be 1965, by the way. So I'm 61.
Yeah.
And so this was, I was 50 at the time. Becky was 50 when she passed. And so you just kind of keep you just kind of keep tackling life, not knowing what's going to happen. And so, I did pray that, because I think God did he designed us for relationships,
Yeah.
and I'm not one to isolate, but I was hopeful if good Lord put the right person, and you hear that, look, if it happens, it's going to happen, and it's not going to be because you sought it out. It's just going to happen.
Right.
And that's what happened. And so Shelby would, what we didn't know at the time, my wife now, her name is Michelle, we didn't know at the time, we had daughters on both sides that were scheming to get us together. And so Shelby would come back to the office and
My
she would
bonus
go,
sister.
Dad, I was in another networking meeting with Michelle today. I really think y'all would get along good.
Oh,
And then we started having
Cupid.
mutual friends, especially those that are really trusted. Some in particular that knew me, that I grew up with the husband and wife from, and knew Becky at that time. So knew me, knew her, went to church with Michelle, knew how she was. And so we just kept having different people pop up and say, Michelle, and she lived over in Flowood. And so I got enough courage one day to reach out just to see if she would like to meet for dinner. And we did. And as the restaurant was closing, I had to tip the waiter a hefty amount because we never even ordered. We forgot to order food. Sat there and talked for 4 hours.
Wow.
And we were, I guess you'd call a COVID couple. It started kind of in 19. Well, then COVID hit. A lot of things are shut down. Not really anything you can do except stay outside, long walks, hikes, things like that. So a lot of conversations really quickly. She shared the same backstory. She lost her first husband a year before Becky passed. Well, our kids knew each other. I've had her kids at my house growing up. And so,
that's so neat.
just a lot of mutual, her kids went to Northwest Rankin, mine went to Madison Central. So there's a lot of, know each other there. And so, come to find out, she had worked for my father back 30 years ago. And so I was talking to my dad one day. I said, I'm seeing a lady now. I think you may know her. And I told her. He said, boy, you better hold on to her. She's a good one.
Oh,
And so I got permission. I asked her sons for permission or what my intent, was, and got their blessing. So the blessing. So I went when we got married in 2020. So I went from 3 kids and 1 grandchild to now we are 8 kids, 8 grandchildren, and 1 on the way.
oh my goodness.
And
They both
just
get a lot of phone calls
couldn't
every
be-
day, I'm sure.
couldn't be better. Family's just
What a blessing.
yeah.
Yeah, such a blessing.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, a good marriage is such a blessing. So to have 2, I feel like is really great. And they say the ones that have a second marriage, you're not scared of it because you had a good first one. Like you're not scared of marriage. You had
Right.
nothing
yeah.
to be scared of. You see the value and the blessing that it is.
Well, and I know for me, it's like, okay, I know there's ways I can be a better husband, and so I get that chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Very powerful. Very
Thank
good
you so
stuff.
much for sharing your story. And
Yeah. And being vulnerable.
yeah,
That's a big part of this too. I mean, it's easy to come on and sing about the praises and the good times and all that, but I mean, no business owner did not go through headwinds, trials and tribulations in some form or fashion. So we appreciate y'all being
Absolutely.
Yeah.
vulnerable
Yeah.
with that. So, man,
and this has been so interesting. Hearing more about the business, the model that y'all have, and just honestly how you've done it so well. Like care for the customer, training your team, teaching them the why. Like I can tell y'all are doing so many things right, and it's why y'all are so successful. So I think it's been really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having us on.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.